Welcome to Huddle for Success. I'm Duane Gibbs alongside my partner, Mark Bruce, the Hall of Famer. We come to you each and every Monday with a new episode to help you grow in business, in life, and personal transformation. With that being said, let's huddle up. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good weekend?
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. And looking forward to this topic. It's a great topic you sent over.
Yeah, something a little bit different. I thought that we would kind of get off track and not get off track, get off topics of us bringing up new things, but staying on track and staying focused with what we have coming up. And that is, we are hosting a 90-minute Pivot to Clarity webinar. And the reason for that is because we keep hearing from you, the
Yeah.
listener, people that are professionals, business owners, you're walking around and you're feeling paused. And there is a transition, and you don't really understand what's going on. And so, what happens is people say, I've achieved everything that I set out to do, but for some reason, I just feel stuck. I can't figure it out. I can't put my finger on it. And so I'm gonna pose the question to you, the listener. Do you ever feel like you're going through the motions? Do you ever feel like you're doing exactly what you think you ought to be doing, but you feel paused? The question is, do you feel paused? So let me paint a picture for you. So tell me if this sounds familiar. You've worked your tail off for the past 15, 20, 25 years. You climbed a ladder. You make good money, probably more now than you've ever had in your life. You got the title, you got the respect, you got the lifestyle. From the outside, everything looks like you got it made. But here's what nobody sees. You wake up, you think in your mind, another day. Everything's really good. I have all the toys. I'm excited about my life. But what I'm doing every single day for my business, for my job, what I have to go do in my 9 to 5, I don't have that fire any longer. So that's the question. You go through the motions, you deliver, you perform. No one's questioning that. But somewhere along the line, you stop feeling excited about what you're building, about what you're doing. Again, going through the motions. And the worst part is you feel guilty about it. You feel guilty about it because you know somewhere around there are people that would kill to really love to have what you have. You know, that they look at you and say, man, that guy's got it together, or she has it together. She has really made a lot for herself. Or look at the business that she's created. Look at the position she's in at work. And, that's all fine and good. But inside and internally, you're just thinking, man, I'm just going through the motions. Mark, let me ask you, you've played at a high level in collegiate basketball. Tell me about what it feels like when externally success looks good, but it doesn't match the internal fulfillment.
Yeah, I can tell you that here's the part that nobody does tell you that success, sometimes when you achieve a goal, you said that you've achieved your goal, but sometimes finding that fulfillment, it's two completely different things is to
Yeah.
succeeding and finding fulfillment. When you can check every box on your list that you had when you were growing up, that society tells you you should want to do, and you still feel empty, it's not because you're broken. It's because you were chasing somebody else's definition of success, or maybe you just achieved your goal and you've achieved it so long ago that maybe you're bored. I don't know. But that's the trap that a lot of high achievers fall into. They've spent their 20s and 30s going for what they were supposed to do, get the degree, get the job, get the promotion, make the money, whatever it was when you're 20s and 30s, but they never stopped to ask, is this actually what I want?
Yeah.
Or is this what I thought it was, what I was supposed to want even? By the time you're in your 40s and 50s, You high achievers, they've built an entire life around something that maybe wasn't their dream to begin with. And now they feel stuck between staying in something that's killing their soul or blow up everything and start over. And neither one of those options feel right. They don't
Yeah.
they don't feel good at all. You end to just coast. It's I think I've mentioned it in a podcast before. You're just in that position of fine. Everything's just fine.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. But and you keep doing what you keep performing, you keep doing your task. As you said, the fire's not there. The light's just
I,
gone out.
I think in today's society, people want to feel like the people that are working hard, people that are successful, people that are going through the motions. I think because we're in such a fast-paced world, people feel like they have to go 100 mile an hour with their head set on fire, and they don't step back and look like, okay, how did I really get here? And the, it, they feel like they're just like you just said, going through the motions.
Yep. All right. So let's break it down a little bit because
Mm,
stuck, that feeling of stuck or paused or whatever it is, looks different for different people.
yeah.
And you need to know which type you're dealing with before you can solve it. So let's call type number one externally successful, internally empty.
Ooh, that's
That's
a
that's
good
a
one.
that's a tough one, but okay, so you've achieved your goal, everything looks fine, but there's no satisfaction. You're
Yeah.
going through the motions, you're just checking the boxes. You can't remember the last time that you felt genuinely excited about going to work. This is the most dangerous type because from the outside, everything does look fine.
Hmm.
So nobody checks on you. Nobody asks if you're okay because everybody knows you're okay. You look okay. And you don't even feel like you have the right to complain because you have made it.
Have you ever been like that? I
Oh,
know the answer.
absolutely. Yes. When we had
Just
our,
this week, and it
uh,
hasn't even started.
it happens a lot. It does happen a lot. But type number two, you could be type number two if you know you need to change, but you don't know how. Okay. So you're clear that something needs to be shifted. You recognize the fact, you're aware of it, but maybe you need to leave your job. Maybe
Mm,
you need to start a business. Maybe you want to just pivot your career, but
I like it.
you just can't figure out what the plan to do that is. You don't know the first step. So when you don't know the first step, you're frozen. Now you
Mm,
say all the time, Duane, a confused mind says
no.
yeah, every single time. This is where people waste years and they know they're unhappy, but they know they need to move, but they just wait for the perfect clarity before taking action. And perfect clarity almost never comes. So,
It doesn't, does it?
no. So that's type two. You need to make a change, but you're not sure what it is. And then type three, there is a type three, and that's afraid to let go of what you've already built. All right.
I mean that I think that really weighs on people because they see an opportunity, and we have talked in the past, and we're going to talk about this deeper in at the class, and that is building something that they have, but they're really, it's the fear of
Oh, yeah.
failure, it's the fear of success, and that really creates a problem.
Yeah. You've invested 15, 20, 30 years of your career
Mm,
or into your company or into this path of what I've been doing. And the thought of walking away, it feels like you're throwing it all away.
yeah,
Nobody wants to start over when you're 20 years into building something. That sounds like you're wasteful. Plus, you've got a mortgage payment, you've got kids, tuition, lifestyle. So you convince yourself, okay, I'll just stick it out a few more years and then I'll figure it out. The few more years turns into 10 more years or 15 more years. And before you know it, you're 60 and you're either ready to retire or you are retired and you realize you spent your best years in life doing something that really didn't matter to you.
yeah,
Which one are you? And I'm not asking you, Duane, you, the listener, which one are you? Because you can't move forward until you honestly identify where you are, which one of those three you are.
yeah. Let me break down a little bit about specifically what we're going to talk about. And we have developed something called the 5 A's, and we really feel like this is important. And so this is really, I would say, catalyst the whole layout of what our 3 days looks like, don't you think?
Yep. And we did this because I always wanted to get straight A's. And I figured this was one way I could do it. I could have
Oh,
five
yeah,
A's
I
on the,
never
I
got
could have
to.
five A's on the report card. And I got, no,
You
that's,
nailed it. You nailed
that's
it.
no,
All right, so we've identified that you, the listener, you have identified that you're stuck, and so now what? So because awareness without action just makes you feel, it makes you feel worse. And so in our 90-minute Pivot to Clarity webinar, we're going to walk you through a framework again that we call the 5 E's. Think of it as a playbook for what happens when you're already ready for the next chapter. And so the first one is assessment. Assessment. Where you are, honestly, not where you think you are, not where you should be, not what it looks like on paper, not what it says on social media, but where you actually are right now. Stop and think about it. Windshield time, driving home today in the vehicle, think about it. Think about, or tonight, if you're spending some quiet time and you go through journaling and stuff, or whatever it is that you do and taking some quiet time, think about that question. Where are you honestly right now? The second A is awareness of how you got here, because we all don't look at that. At some point, we just say, we're here. What in the heck happened? You ever go on a long trip and you're driving and then it says the next state or next destination or whatever it says, 22 miles. Well, heck, you lost 47 miles because you were off in space. You were thinking, you don't know how you got there.
you were
It's
on
kind of
autopilot.
like, it's
You were
kind
on
of like that
autopilot.
Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation. Are you
Uh,
just blanking out? What's that look like? And so people do not realize how they got where they are. And
yeah.
so think about that. And so what pattern is running in the background? What habits and beliefs are shaping your decisions without you realizing it? What is that?
Yep.
Thirdly is alignment. And I think this is, again, another important A of your desire and your goals, your why. Because without a why, what is it? It's just a to-do list. Your desire, your goal of what your why is, if you don't have a why and you're not looking at it, it just becomes a to-do list.
Yep.
What do you think, Mark?
We're not talking about the letter Y. We're talking about your reason why.
Mhm.
You've got to have a reason why you're shooting at a goal. Absolutely.
Number four, equally important, action. This is what we were talking about earlier. The steps, real ones, specific ones, not your someday step, not somebody else's step, not what you think that it should be, but your Monday morning step.
Yes.
What's the first thing you do every morning when you get up? What's the second and third thing? I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds very simplistic, but if you're not doing it, because Mark and I do it, and I can tell you that I am way more prepared for my day, way more successful in my day, way more in tune of what comes next because of my journaling, my prayer in the morning, my quiet time, all that matters. And people say, well, you don't understand my situation. I got 3 kids and I got to get out the door and I got big things happening at work today. I get it. We have all have been there at some point, but there comes a time that you, if not now, you've come into a point where you want something to change in your life. And the only time something's going to change is if you change it. No one's going to do it for you. No,
Every,
go ahead.
yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say every journey starts with a step, a first step, and you've got to know what that first step is.
Yeah, because if you're not changing the initial results of your day, that's the whole foundation of your day. And if you're not changing that, get up earlier. I'm so tired. I go to bed so late. Go to bed earlier. I can't really do it because again, I get it. It happens. But there's got to be a point where there's a line in the sand that you say, you know what, daggone it, I'm going to start taking action. I'm going to start doing things differently in the morning and they don't have to be audacious goals, audacious change. It just has to be Just do something different. I always, I make fun of it, but I have done this. Get out on the other side of the bed sometimes, just something different. Walk through the house differently before going into the kitchen. Whatever that is, it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny, but yet your mind says, wait a minute. Why are you doing something different? And Mark's going to talk about paradigm shift. Mark's going to talk about conscious and unconscious mind and within the webinar itself.
Yeah, it's funny. You talk about changing up, getting on their own side. My dad made me brush my teeth with right hand on one day, left on the other. He didn't want me in a rut. And I'd get up and there'd be on the sink, there'd be a left or a right because he wanted me to be ambidextrous so I could shoot a left-handed or right-handed hook shot.
That's that
It,
coach in them.
it was.
But no, do something different because when change happens, different results happen.
Yeah.
They follow.
Yep.
Do something different. And that leaves us number five, accountability, your plan. Not accountability for someone else's expectations, accountability for your own standards. You've built, you've done, you've grown, you've evolved. I will tell you, you're not 20 or 30 years of age any longer. You have success. You have made it. But there's something inside that says, daggone it, I want to do better the second half of my life. Or, hey, I'm completely fine and I don't want to change anything. And that's God speak to you. That's great. I'm glad that you have it all figured out and you don't have one issue. But I would challenge you, if you're saying that to yourself, really think about, am I really okay? Or am I just trying to calm myself because I'm not forced to have to do anything different. And again, if you are, good for you. For those of you that are not, think differently. Change your morning habit. You will see a big pattern from that, creating easier and more successful days ahead of you.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And if you are, like Duane said, if you're happy and you're successful and you feel fulfilled, man, more power to you. Could you do more?
Yeah.
Because that's what, the more life, we're only here for a very short period of time on this earth. And we only get a limited amount of time to do what we can do. Are you doing everything that you could possibly do? That's just to throw that question out there. Let's break it down a little bit. You can't build a life that fulfills you if you don't know what fulfillment looks like for you. So, the first question you should ask yourself is, what does success actually mean to me? Not what it means to your parents, not what it looks like on LinkedIn. What is it that actually you want for your life to look like? I'm not talking about vague stuff. I want to be happy, or I want to be balanced, have a balanced life. They've got to be specific, because we talk about in our books, specific goals. You've got to be specific. The more specific you are, the clearer what you do every day will become. You do the things that you think about all day long. So what do you want to be, and what do you want to be doing every day? Who do you want to be working with? What impact do you want your work to have? Because here's the thing. You can't hit a target if you can't see it. If you don't know where the goal is, you can't put the ball in it. Most people are walking around with no target, no idea where their basket is they're trying to put the ball through. They're just reacting to whatever comes to them. That was the first question. Duane, what's the second question?
I would say the second question, I was thinking about it. The second question is what your non-negotiables are. What are they? What are the things you're absolutely not willing to sacrifice anymore? Maybe it's time with your family. Maybe it's spending more time at church. Maybe it's your health.
Yep.
Maybe it's your integrity. Maybe it's your freedom. Maybe it's vacation. I don't know. But until you can name what that is, you're going to keep trading them in for things that don't matter. I mean, what do you think, Mark?
Absolutely. You have to put a name to it. And we can't tell you what success looks like for you. You're the only person that can do that for yourself.
That's kind of like financial independence. People say define financial independence, and you know what? That's different all the way across the board.
Yep.
I've talked to people over the years, and they say, you know what? I really wish that me and my wife didn't have to work two jobs. I just want to work one job and she works one job. And I said, what's that mean to you? And they say financial independence. There are others that say they want their own plane and they want to have their own 25,000 square foot home. It's different to everybody. And this applies to you. What is the thing that you don't want to trade that doesn't matter? And here's the critical piece. You surround yourself with people who support your vision,
Yep.
whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your in laws, whomever. Most people are stuck because they surround themselves by people who are invested in staying in the same place. You need a circle of people who see your potential, who challenge you, who excite you, and who hold you accountable to the vision that you're building. And Mark and I have always been in mastermind programs. Mark's been in a mastermind group since when, Mark? 86?
86, 87. Yep. That,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
no, and that's 1986 or 87. That's not 87 days ago. That
I don't
long
think
time.
anybody was thinking
Oh,
that, but
okay. Well,
I'm glad you clarified. I'm glad. Those of you that don't know Mark, Mark is an engineer mindset. So you will get to know that, which
I,
is awesome. He is our Hall of Famer.
I'm not an engineer by trade, but I do have a lot of characteristics that engineers have.
And to go back, what I was saying is that's what a coach does. That's what a mentor does. That's what the right peer group does for you. So people say, oh gosh, I got to find a whole group. No, a mastermind is in definition two people. Find somebody that can hold you accountable. Find a foxhole brother, somebody is there for you that's going to say, "Hey, listen, you said you were going to do this and not do that." Not to a nagging point, but for a positive constructive criticism point to where they hold you accountable. Because if people aren't holding you accountable, then it's going to be okay for you just to slide to, it's kind of, hey, I'm going on a diet and I really can't eat any cookies this week because I can't have the sugar. I'm don't want the starches. I got to start eating healthy. And then all of a sudden you go into the kitchen and you're sneaking a cookie and your wife sees you or your husband sees you and says, you're on a diet. Instead, they just say, oh, go ahead. You deserve it. They I don't know. Anybody that knows me, I'm stubborn is the word. I guess I get it faithfully from my dad. My dad was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not stubborn. What's the word I'm looking for, Mark?
I don't know. Is it persistent or just
He had willpower. So my
okay.
willpower is very strong. If I say, hey, I'm going to drink 3 glasses of water today, I'm going to drink 3 glasses of water. Keep that willpower. It works for me. On a team, you didn't get better by practicing yourself. You practice with surrounding your people by ones that are committed, that are just excited as you are.
Yeah.
When it's like being in your own office, doing your own business, there's no way. Ask any successful person, there's no way that you can excel because you have nobody to collaborate with, no one to run ideas through, no one to help work out what you're stuck on. It's just impossible to excel and grow your business if number one, it's not a duplicatable model, and how it becomes a duplicatable model is you have to have a system, and having a system means you need somebody to hold you accountable for, and a partner will do that. Somebody, some type of support group, and that's what you have to have. And so, same thing in life and business.
Yeah. My accountability partners, there have been times when I've said, I commit to do these four things. And the following week comes along and I haven't done any of them because life got in the way or this happened or that happened. And they just said, how'd you do? Did you do them? Nope. Okay. They're on for this week again. Or you have something. Yep. They're on for this week again. There have been times when I've missed something really important 3, 4 weeks in a row. And then they still don't nag, but they just want to know, did you get it done? And they might ask this question, is that really important to you? Why aren't you doing it? Maybe you should take it off your list. And then when you realize, no, I should have really done that 4 weeks ago, their accountability holds you to that fire. And that's so important. And here's what separates people who actually change their lives through masterminds or whatever other method from people who just talk about it, and that's commitment. You got to be motivated, not you got to be motivated to make a decision, not just plain motivated. You've got to be committed to the decision that you make. Most motivation fades. You can get fired up on this episode and maybe even take some notes and make a plan and move a couple steps forward. That's great. But 2 weeks from now, when life gets busy and the initial excitement wears off, what's going to keep you moving? And it's that commitment to the decision that you made. It's that willpower that Duane talked about. You're not going to spend the next 10 years of your life like this. That's what you've got to be committed to. The commitment requires two things. One, you've got to decide where you are no longer going to accept, you're no longer going to accept the way things are. You're not going
Mm,
to self-loathe. You're not going to beat yourself up, but instead you're going to say, I deserve better than this. And
absolutely.
and just decide that. And number two, believe that where you want to go is actually possible for you to go. Belief, believe, and you can achieve. That's a part of a quote that I heard Bob Proctor say many times. And if you don't believe that you can achieve it, you won't.
Yeah.
That part is where most people struggle because a lot of times they just plain don't believe it. They've been stuck for so long, they've convinced themselves that it's permanent. And this is just how it's going to be. I'm too old to change. Gosh, Colonel Sanders opened Kentucky Fried Chicken when he was 65 years old. I love that because I just happen to be that old these days. Or they say I've invested too much to walk away now. None of that's true.
Yeah.
You're not too old. It's not too late. You don't have to stay stuck. It's not just, you just have to believe that you can have what you want and that you can achieve it.
Gotcha. Love it. So here's where we are. The framework, it's going to be based off the 5 A's: assessment, awareness, alignment, action, and accountability. But knowing and doing are two different things. So I'm going to challenge you here. You listen to us on the podcast. Most people go to our website, or at some point for a quick moment, they feel a little inspired. And then hey, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to do, and they go back to their regular life and nothing changes. And then they hear something again that motivates them, and oh, I got to do this, and nothing changes. So if you're serious and you want to make a real change right now, and you're feeling like, hey, I'm tired of being stuck, and I've worked hard, and maybe these guys can really get me over the hump and help me see clear. Listen, this is where I challenge you. Click the link below, 90-minute Pivot to Clarity webinar. It's designed for people like yourself, successful professionals who are ready to pivot and achieve great success and create fulfillment for themselves. So this isn't about selling you anything, and I'll tell you why. It's about deciding you're worth the investment, because this is why. The class is absolutely free. There's no excuse. 90-minute Pivot to Clarity. I challenge you. Click the link below. We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for joining us on this episode of Huddle for Success. Join us each and every Wednesday and Friday as we do our Huddle Up session. That's a quick, mindful thought that lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. Like, share, leave a comment. Again, take that challenge. We look forward to seeing you on 90-minute Pivot to Clarity webinar coming April the 9th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you there.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Huddle for Success. If you found it helpful and want to support others on their journey, share this podcast, leave us a rating, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next week on Huddle for Success. Stay huddled up.